The kids are back in school, and nostalgia every once in a while sets in, and I think about the days with my A-team trapper keeper and the sound of corduroy in the hallway as we went from class to class. And I also remember what the kitchen was like when I was a kid, and it was a madhouse. Mom was trying to get breakfast ready and lunches ready for my brother and I. So here's what I'm going to do. For those of you who are getting those young ones ready to head out of the door, I am going to set you up with an easy, and I'm talking easy breakfast routine. This is something that takes a little bit of prep work, but it's going to take some of the mad out of your madhouse in the morning, and that's coming up on Culinary Nunnsense. All right, I'm promising you a little bit of extra free time in the morning by helping to ease up some of the breakfast routine, but it's still going to cost you a little bit of prep work the night before. But these have some shelf life, so you can get a couple of days out of them if you get them sealed and wrapped up nice and tight. So what we're talking about are quiche cups, but not the traditional sense of quiche with a pastry dough and then all the eggs and the cream and all that to go inside of it. Instead, we're going to make these really easy. We're going to make them semi-healthy, and we're going to make it, more importantly, so you can make some time. And speaking of time, it's time to get cracking. So let's crack some eggs. Depending on how many people in your brood, you may need a bigger muffin tin. This is a simple 6-cup muffin tin. So I'm going to go with, it takes about 1 egg to fill up each one of those tins. So I'm going to go with 6 eggs, and we'll start by cracking 6 whole eggs. Just a small pinch of salt, because the prosciutto or the bacon that you may use in this case is going to bring its own salt to it. Obviously a little bit of pepper to go in with your eggs, and take them from that bright yellow as they sit with their yolk still whole, and whip it until it almost takes on a lemony yellow. You'll see the color begin to dull here as it gets whipped together uniformly. You know, to be honest, while you're doing dinner or getting ready for dinner the night before, you could have one of your kids actually whipping up the eggs to get ready to help make their own breakfast. Now, as I mentioned, these are quiche cups, but we're going to forego, at least in this case, we're going to forego the pastry that would normally accompany the quiche. Instead, what we're going to use are some of these pre-sliced prosciutto pieces. And you can get these at the deli case at most grocery stores. If they don't have it, you can always go to the deli. They may have the prosciutto there ready to be sliced. But essentially all we're going to do is we're going to use these to make up our muffin liners. And don't worry if it doesn't go all the way up around the edge, because there's plenty of oil in here that's going to keep the eggs from sticking to the sides of your quiche. If you don't like pork or you don't like bacon, you can go with the pastry. And the easy way to do it is just buy some of that pie pastry that's ready to go. Measure out, or at least get a rough estimate of what your quiche cups are, and then cut out little circles to stuff in here. Let's go ahead and continue to load up some of these cups. Once you have all your ham slices, and you can use any kind of ham, once again, Canadian bacon, prosciutto, regular bacon, just use a couple of strips, or even sausage patties. Just make sure they're squished down all the way to the bottom, and those would require just a little bit more cook time out of them. But either way, once you get your bacon in place here, all you have to do is top off the cups with some of those whipped eggs. If you like cream with your eggs, if you're making omelets and such, you can of course add cream to this. I've just added a little bit of water, and all that's for is just to help lighten the consistency between the yolk and the egg white, so it's just a little runnier. It comes out a little easier for these quiche cups. And if you find some that are a little uneven, all you have to do is take a spoon and even out some of those cups. Now these would be good right now. Basically what you have is ham and eggs in a cup, but here's what we can do with a little bit of Culinary Nunnsense. Let's add some flavor to it. I like some spice. Some pickled jalapeno rings. Let's add a couple of those to one of the cups. Now we have a Fiesta cup. Maybe you like cheese. How about some freshly grated cheese in a cup? Put that right on top. Don't worry about it. It'll get nice and melty warm and become part of that quiche cup. I don't want any of that cheese to go to waste. Get in there, cheese. Or maybe you like some tomato, a little zing, kind of like a little Western omelet. How about this? Let's put in some tomato in one. We'll grab some fresh chopped onion. Again, that would be caramelized if I was doing it in my house, also making it pretty good. And we'll even throw in some mushroom. And speaking of mushroom, let's do one that's got some mushroom and how about some fresh spinach. So now we've got mushroom and spinach. Now you want to get your spinach to go beneath the egg line there, or it will cook on top. Once it gets below, as this continues to cook, it will stay under. And let's see what else. How about spinach and mushroom, and we'll also add in some tomato. There you go. This is all we're doing. It's just some of the stuff that I had in my kitchen so I can show you the different flavors. And then lastly, we'll add some tomato to this little cup, as well as some of the fresh onion, fresh chopped onion, Now let's pop it in the oven, about 300 degrees for about 25 to 30 minutes. 30 minutes are up and our egg cups are perfectly done. Let's go ahead and get these out of the oven. Now here's the part where, while they're still warm, you want to take, you can either use an offset spatula, but I really find that a spoon does just as well. And we're just going to loosen the cups all the way on the outside. And look at that, voila, they pop right out. Even the ones that had a little bit of a spillage to it because of the non-stick nature of the pan, that and the fact that we've got a fair amount of non-stick itself, just given the content of fat inside of the prosciutto. And these, oh, that's the one with the spinach. And look at the beautiful colors here. Oh, here comes the mushroom and cheese. And you can see that if you've got some picky or finicky eaters, and then others that like a little bit more adventure, you can put all of that into one cupcake. And if you have one of the big cupcake tins, you know, like the ones that cook 12 or maybe even 24, these work out really well. Also, the mini cupcake tins work just as nice. They just turn them into little bite-sized pieces. But here's the best part of it. You've got breakfast ready to go. A piece of toast, a glass of juice or a milk, and getting the kids a healthy breakfast, getting them something yummy in their tummy before they head out to school, I don't think it's ever been easier. As a matter of fact, I'll say this. I think if you grab your eggs, some bacon or prosciutto, or maybe even some pastries to stuff in here, and you make yourself little quiche cups the night before, and you start saving some time early morning, especially around breakfast when you're getting those kids ready for school, I think you too will say, not only as a time saver, but as a tasty treat, there is none better.